Hi everyone, just a short video I hope on detoxing the body of heavy metals, which I believe is going to become the most essential thing to do in the next short while. It's going to keep you healthy and well in a sea of EMFs and radiation frequencies, and it's absolutely essential that you don't give these frequencies any means of conductivity in your body. And I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. Which one is it? I think it's this one. Share. Yes. And I want to first start talking about things that you can do yourself really cheaply and really easily. And one of them is, and I'll tell you how they all work, is horsetail. Now, horsetail, I don't know if there's a picture here of it, is a plant that is the scourge of allotmenteers. Just seeing if I can find a picture. No, can't see a picture there. That's a shame. I'll see if I can pull one up while we're on. Anyway, so horsetail is a long horsetail-like plant. It literally comes out of the earth. It looks a bit like, here they've suggested it looks like asparagus, which it does, but it isn't, obviously. It's clearly not. It's long, it's got lots of little tiny fibrous things that come off of it, but it's a very ancient plant. It's prehistoric, and it is composed of silica, mainly. It's a very, very abundant mineral in silica, in horsetail. And what silica does is it binds with heavy metals, in particular aluminium, and it chelates it out of the system. So what happens is it just binds with the actual aluminium, and you just pee it out. It's very simple. But as you can see here, I'm going to leave these links. You can probably see the links at the top of the page, so I'll leave them there. I might put them in the thing underneath this article so that you can get to look them up yourself. And you can see here the history of it. It helps with osteoporosis, it plumps up your collagen, it's good for calcium absorption, it stems bleeding, and so on and so forth. So it's a fantastic herb, I'd call it. Most allotmenteers would call it a weed. And I've been drying it and using it for the last 3 years, since ever I started to realise that we really do need to learn how to look after ourselves and how to make our immune systems very strong. So let me just see if I can show you what this looks like. It's like dried grass. Can you see? It's just like dried grass. And I put about that much. You can see what I've got between a finger and a thumb. Maybe a little bit more than that, in a cup. Pour some hot water over it with maybe a leaf of lemon balm or a leaf of mint or two, just to give it a better flavour, because this is a bit grassy. You know what I mean? It smells like grass. It's not fantastic. I mean, you can drink it on your own, but I tend to like to mix it with something that's more flavoursome. If you mix it with lemon balm, not only are you chelating aluminium out of the body, you're actually giving the body a relaxant as well. So lemon balm is very relaxing. So that's silica, that's horsetail. Here are some health benefits of silica for aluminium detox. It gets rid of heavy metals and heavy metal poisoning. So it could help, you can see here, with Alzheimer's, and it could help with all kinds of things related to toxicity in the body from heavy metals. And you'll understand in a moment why I say it's very important that you don't have anything in your body that is conductive around EMF frequencies and microwave radiation. So that's silica. So the next element I want to talk about is something that most people think is just a washing powder, and actually was classified as a poison in 2010. There's a reason for that, and I'll come on to that. So Borax is a natural, as you can see, it's a detergent booster. It's a natural element. It comes out of open cast mining in Turkey and California. It's packaged up as a washing powder, and it's good. I put it in my dishwasher now and again, along with bicarb soda, which does exactly the same. So you don't need expensive washing tablets. Vinegar and borax and bicarb soda will do you everything. So the advice with this, if you look at this online, boron as a supplement, you'll get all kinds of warnings. You shouldn't take it. It's a poison. Well, it's not a poison, okay? It's an essential element that without having this in your body, then you can't absorb all of the other nutrients as well as you should. And boron is one of those nutrients or elements that is really easily stripped out of the earth, and the earth becomes very boron deficient. Boron is used after a nuclear accident from a nuclear plant, because it naturally binds with all of the uranium and heavy metals that come out of radiation poisoning, and it carries them away. It binds with it and carries it away. This is exactly what it's doing with your body as well. It's binding with heavy metals and it's taking them out. So if you look at this little section here, deficiency symptoms, boron is necessary throughout the body with the highest concentration in the parathyroid glands, the bones, the joints, and the dental enamel. It's essential for healthy bone and joint function and is responsible for regulating the absorption and metabolism of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Okay, so a lot of us, I'm going to put these links below so you can look them up yourself and do your research. Don't take my word for it, for goodness sakes. I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you what I do, and I do this, okay? I do actually use this, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in a moment. But it was classified as a poison in 2010 because it also happens to treat rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, all kinds of immune system dysfunction and autoimmune system problems. So it treats all of this, and it is absolutely phenomenal. The days I started taking it about 3 months ago, and almost immediately I noticed that my mind was clearer. And the reason I say that is because obviously, you know, we talk about this in the alt movement, alternative truth movement, if you like, that a lot of the fluoride, which is aluminium, and all of the other toxins that you take in calcify your pineal gland, and your pineal gland is what gives you access to nature. It's what gives you access to your spirituality. And if it's calcified and it's not working properly, which is designed obviously by you know, corporate foods, they don't want you too bright, do they? Then it's just not going to work properly. And when I first started taking borax, of course, I felt like the lights had come on just in the first couple of days. And it does feel very, very energizing, refreshing to take. It takes a few days to kick in, but then you start to really realize it. And this is how I take it. So it's a white powder. I'll just show you in this little tiny thing. It's a little white powder. You could be forgiven for thinking that might look like, that might look like Coke or some other substance, but it's actually just like salt. It is just the same as salt. So that's what it looks like. And this is what I do. So I take a pinch of it and watch as it falls how much there is there. It's a pinch between my thumb and finger, and it's just as big as a pinch. It's I put it in this container. I fill that up with, well, first of all, I just dissolve it in some hot water, and then I fill it up with cold water, and then I drink it whenever I feel like it. You know, whenever I fancy a glass of water, I drink that. The water is always filtered as best you can. So that's one other. Do your research. Don't take my word for it. That's not the one. That's not the one. Where are we? This one. Oh, that's me. Where are we? Nope. Share. Let's share this page again. Oh, there it is. Share. Right. This thing is in the way. How do I get it out of the way? Oh, it's gone now. Right. So my next one is Diatomaceous Earth, which I do have. I do have this. I'm less confident with this. I've had Diatomaceous Earth for a while, but I'm less confident with this because I don't think it causes me any harm, but I have seen some bad effects of it being used as a slug and pest deterrent in the garden. It can actually destroy all wildlife. Not because it's an evil substance, because people misuse it and they put too much out and they think, well, I've got a slug problem, I'm going to put loads out. It can literally just sanitize the earth, so there's no microbes in it at all. So you want to be careful with it, but you can imagine, because it's such an efficient cleanser, it gets rid of stuff that shouldn't be in the body. And the way to use this, again, I haven't got it here handy, but it's in the kitchen, is to take a small half a teaspoon, mix it into water, and then just drink it down. And I wouldn't take loads of that. I'll put this link up, but I would take it now and again. And I do take it now and again, but it is sort of, maybe once or twice a month. It's not something I do every day, but it is worth doing because it really does lift heavy metals out of the body. Now, this is a website I came across. It's 10 natural tips to detox heavy metals. And what you've got here is cilantro, which is, to you and me, coriander. These are just very simple foods that you can buy, you can grow, very easy to grow. What's the word? Coriander. It's very easy to grow coriander. Just a few seeds in a pot with some soil on the top and just some water. Leave it on the windowsill, and within a week you'll have tiny shoots coming up about that big, and within 2 or 3 weeks you'll have stuff that's big enough to eat. It does tend to go to seed quickly, but as long as you eat it when it's, as it's coming up, and you don't leave it hanging around, then it will be fine. They're also suggesting garlic, fermented foods, which you can have a look at a bit more in depth. And I've also got there cider vinegar, which I've also got a page open for. Apples, bananas, grapes, all of this natural stuff is good because pectin carries heavy metals out of the body. Chlorella and spirulina, they're two seaweeds, and they both carry heavy metals out of the body. They're very good for that. Obviously you have to buy this stuff, so it's not so cheap. You have to find it somewhere. It says eat protein-packed foods, eggs, nuts, meats, etc. That's up to you. And clean water. Purified water means distilled water. The jury's out on that for me. I think if you can get the worst of the heavy metals out of the water, like fluoride, by filtering, that's probably, as much as you need to do. If you really want to distill water, you can buy it from a chemist for £3 for like a 5 litre bottle. But cheaper than that is to get a saucepan, put the lid upside down, put a bowl in the saucepan with the water, like a bain-marie, and the water evaporates, it condenses on the lid, and it falls into the bowl underneath. So if you really need to do this, get a glass of distilled water. That's how you can do it. Greens. This says limit fish consumption. That's probably because they're full of heavy metals from the ocean, and infrared or sauna. So the other thing I'd like to share with you is Epsom salts. Epsom salts, which you can find in the chemist, super cheap, is another mineral that's just mined out of the earth. Sadly, it's a resource that we're all using up, but it is mined out of the earth, and it's full of magnesium. So it's also magnesium salts, and magnesium is a nerve conductor. So it's a conductor of electrical information throughout the body. And when there is a lack of magnesium in your body, then a lot of your electrical conductivity in the body stops working as efficiently. And one of the symptoms you might find for that are things like heart palpitations, heart conditions, things that require the body, the electrical charge of the body to be working efficiently. And if it's not, then it can cause that kind of problem. And the other thing is bicarb of soda. Now, this doesn't actually carry heavy metals out of the body, but it does alkalinize the body, which is the same as all fresh fruit and vegetables will alkalinize the body. And in an alkaline body, then you are much less susceptible to illness. So if you want to get rid of heavy metals out of the body, there's a number of different things that you can do. Now, I want to just show you what Wikipedia says. There was a law passed many years ago called Codex Alimentarius. And it's a law that says you cannot eat anything unless it's been through a process, pretty much. And the process can be a rubber stamping process. Yes, this is safe for human health, or it can actually be a process like milk has to be pasteurized, yeah, which is a process and you can't sell it without. So the processing of food is what Codex Alimentarius was set up for in the 1950s, to make sure that everything that went through was safe for human consumption. Bearing in mind, you know, we've been living on this planet for absolutely millennia, and there was some very old wisdom that grew up over many, many centuries about what was healthy and what wasn't. And we're talking about, you know, the witches and the senior elders and the medicine people, because we had them, the shaman of the world. They all knew. As people moved into cities, practices got a bit ridiculous. You know, people were trying to make money, which is another human creation, to survive. So they started peddling all kinds of stuff, which wasn't good for you. But if you go back to the original craft, there's a lot of amazing stuff. Nature has the answer to everything. And yet in the 50s, Codex Alimentarius was set up. And you can see from this page, if you're seeing it now, that Codex Alimentarius has been the subject of various conspiracy theories. Okay, let's go with the theory idea. These accuse it of being an agenda for population control, an anti-supplement Big Brother initiative of actually implementing eugenics, or a process for world government establishment. That's fascinating, isn't it? That's fascinating. I mean, this couldn't be more on point than it is now. A world government establishment. So are they talking about the World Health Organization that wants to tell us all how to live our lives, how to look after ourselves, how to avoid coronavirus? So I'm going to leave that up, and you know, you can stop the video and you can read that through. Bearing in mind that Wikipedia is massive fake news information itself, so just look at what it's saying here, and then look at the light of what I've just been telling you, because this is fascinating. And I just want to close with the idea that the reason we want to get aluminium and heavy metals and all agents that could potentially conduct EMF out of the body, through the body, microwave radiation EMF, is because they are relying upon the conductivity of metals within your body to be able to track human behavior on the planet from satellite installations. Now, I didn't say that, okay? I didn't say that. Bill Gates said that in a video, and I'll put a link to it below. You can watch it yourself. So if they're tracking us and they need the conductivity of metals within, then they've got all of us under lockdown. In addition, there's another video I want to share with you, which I'll also put in the link below. The the next new phase of microwave radiation, which is being rolled out currently around the world, is 5G. Now, after every new phase, within months of every new phase of upgrade of some kind of EMF field that's bathing the planet, there tends to be a mass pandemic. And I want to show you the references for that. So it's not because 5G necessarily itself kills you. It's because you are conductive. You have metals in your body that are conducting this, and this totally upsets your circadian rhythms, it upsets your mitochondria, it upsets everything within you. If you are being beamed and you're having effectively chips, it's microdust or aluminium from vaccines, or however it is, whatever way they're trying to get aluminium and toxins into your body, this is how they can track and find you everywhere you go. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. This is what I consider to be probably one of the most important videos I'll ever make. And I want you to do your research. Do not trust me. Please don't trust me. I have spent years and years researching this, and I've come to my own conclusions about it. But I've gone down many, many rabbit holes thinking, well, maybe that wasn't right. For example, boron, you know, it's classified as a poison then. So, you know, you have to really do your research properly, and not so that you can defend your decisions. It's not about being a victim of conspiracy theories or a victim of propaganda. You need to be able to stand in your space, in your heart and in your body, and say, this is why I'm doing it, for me. Because that's your choice, isn't it? Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a good day.